walking through the wall of fire. I welcome you to join me for this short video. If you've been there and you've done it, or if you're going through it, or I'd say if it's a lucky few that at one point when you do go through it, you may want to listen to this here. This is coming from my own experience. What I thought was a sense of accomplishment when I left high school with working various jobs, and I was lucky enough, I was involved with a couple of apprenticeships for a while, and very, very lucky, very, very fortunate. And eventually I wound up going somewhere else, and I was in an on-call type of environment for 7 years, and I stepped out of it, and I pursued my career for a short couple of years as a commercial pilot. And what I got from it is, walking through that wall of fire was, if I didn't walk through it, I would never get the opportunity to up-level with wherever I needed to go. And I'm sharing this to inspire others that if you think you're stuck, and one example that's coming to mind for me, and I'm saying there's opportunities everywhere. I'm aware of a lot of things have changed. In my late 20s, there was an opportunity where I left Ontario and I went to Alberta. And simply by changing my environment, the money changed, the opportunities changed. It wasn't the schooling, it wasn't the academics. I still had to have a work ethic. And that was one of many experiences from a younger age. And after the 7 years being on call, it was very, very clear for me that thank you, but I'm not interested in that anymore, and I'm choosing to doing something else. And I took a step back and I worked on myself. I said, with whatever I'm doing, it's not working anymore. So I got introduced to the spiritual side of things, that we are as a human soul living this physical life. And I want to volunteer showing up here to do the soul a favor, that while I'm physically here, to purge and clear out whatever was inside of me, not only from this lifetime, which is key and vital in this 3D world, but at one point I found out I had to release all the entanglements from my mom, from my dad, from the family, the culture, the 3 different cultures from Canada, Germany, and Holland, and then from the ancestry and with whatever was stuck with inside of me. And in order for me to do this, in order for me to graduate and up-level with it, and I'd say it was an opportunity to really up-level, redeeming myself back into the arms of the universe. And this is hands down one of the toughest apprenticeships I've ever served. So, if you have any understanding about the 3D consciousness and the 5D and where things are going, at one point everything's shifting into the 5D. So, for those that are pursuing it or interested in it, or you're considering jumping into it, I'd say go all out with it. You have nothing to lose with this. And I'm sharing this because when we show up here, none of us are here on a picnic. So it's not just with it. Some of us got very, very lucky, like myself. At one point, we had a 6-figure job and had the dream job and motorbikes and this and that and all the sporting gear. What I'm sharing is, the moment I started to up-level in my life, I started up-leveling my environment, I up-leveled the type of work that I was involved with, the people I was associating with. I had to really grow up, I had to really level up. And every time when I'm doing this, I can hear that in my voice right now, every time as I continue to up-level and improve me, I got tested by the universe. And specifically when I got involved with the healing, and it wasn't sitting on the table and somebody putting their hands over me and said, well, we're going to do some Reiki work here, or we're going to do a couple of releases. It was, I had to take the full ownership of my life, and without being pushed by my soul to really drill it home for me that I have work to do here. And the download that I'm getting with is, at one point, every one of us are going to be going through this. Because when we show up here, none of us are here on a picnic, and we volunteered, and the soul has a very, very important assignment for each and every one of us to get done with this. So that wall of fire was, for me, I mastered things up very, very well at one point with the fear of speaking or getting out there. That was a tough one. My leadership at one point, yeah, it needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of refinement with it. The cool part is, the moment I released the emotional entanglements of it, and I cleared that out, then I was able to breathe. I said, thank you, universe. Whatever that stress, whatever that tension is, it's gone. And now it's time for me to up level and then start learning the proper leadership of things. So there's no judgment, there's no blame with anything. When I was given the guidance, you have to have the right guidance with anything. You don't want to ask people for advice doing something and they haven't done it themselves. Maybe coming from a good place, but in the long run, it's not a good thing. So as I walked through the wall of fire, meaning that as every time as I up leveled and I improved me, or when a test came up from purging out a strong feeling or a strong emotion, and there was that soul agreement or that soul entanglement that I had to release, as I released it, then the universe would give me a test to see, well, am I going to stay stuck with where I'm at? Am I going to stay in the same loop? Or at one point, was I going to up level and keep going through that wall of fire? And that wall of fire, there's a feeling, it's back to a feeling, because we live in this physical 3D world. It's that physical energy on the inside. Was it going to stay there, or was it going to keep blasting through that wall of fire and continue to up level with wherever I need to go with this? I will humbly share with you that at one point, for the lucky few that are going through this, it tested my merit out, it tested my inner strength out, and whatever I thought at the time, many years prior to it, with all the little tests that I had gone through, or jumping through all the hoops, or what I thought was it something that I ventured into, and if it didn't turn out, it was simply the universe's way of either redirecting me somewhere else, or keeping me safe, and then saying, okay, we're going to put you on. I wound up getting pointed somewhere else, and it was an opportunity to keep growing and without being stuck in the same environment, because there was a lot of things that I was doing that I've done in the past lives, in the past lifetime, and the soul's like, hey, we got to do something else here. So the soul became as a major priority, and I'm emphasizing the soul because when we show up here, we're coming here, I found this out the hard way, we're coming here to close up all of the 3D lower emotional entanglements. So if you're not happy with your life, and at one point I wasn't, the soul vibrates at a very, very high frequency and has all the beautiful high energies. But when I found out when I showed up here, it was my responsibility, the moment I started to unplug and release all the lower frequencies, all the tough agreements, whether it was yelling, screaming, anger, violence, physically, mentally, emotionally, cultural stuff, racism, hatred, anger, whatever you like to add to that. And there's a lot of other feelings with grief and sadness. I think for a lot of us, these are some of the tougher experiences that I wound up learning. The moment I released it, that freed me up energetically. And that's what I'm talking about when I walked through that wall of fire. As I walked through it, it was like, man, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? And I'll be honest with you, at the time I wasn't ready for it, I wasn't mature enough for it, and I had no clue about it, I had no understanding of it, other than when I got a couple of rude awakenings from the universe with the law of attraction, and I was almost in a corner at one point, even though I was flying, I had my career on my way, and on this physical plane, on the 3D level, things were great. I was very, very happy with it. But I knew on the inside there was a few things that I had to really deal with, and the universe put it in front of me. And then at one point I'm like, okay. And I'm sharing this because the energy's changed, the consciousness has changed, and for many of you that are watching this, at one point you're going to go through this yourself. And at one point you have to make a decision. And it's not with the support from other people, with the right people to assist you physically, yes. But you have to make that decision on your own, like I did. I had to take that chance on me that, is it serving me or is it serving somebody else? And the moment I liberated myself and I gave myself the permission to say, I'm doing this for me, and I kept walking through that wall of fire of the unknown and doing something I've never done before, this is where the universe, the other side, the other spiritual side, they started to open up other doors that I didn't think were remotely possible. And once the doors started to open up, then it was my responsibility to keep walking through them and honoring it to the best of my ability and keep persevering with it. And the moment I did this, this not only freed myself up energetically and emotionally, it also freed up my soul. So when we show up here, the soul is stuck with a lot of emotional baggage from this lifetime and from the other past lifetimes. So when we leave here, it's most important, I see that one of the most critical things here is do whatever you can to physically, or you have to go in, it's an inside job, and you have to remove all the nonsense on the inside. I used some colorful language prior to that, but it's technically nonsense. And it's a test from the universe. It's a test with one's soul, and it was a promise that we all made on the other side prior to coming here that at one point we're going to say, okay, soul, I'm here. The amnesia's weared off. I've gone through a lot of experiences, and I'm ready now to up level and grow with this. So it's here to inspire others with wherever you're going, with whatever you're doing, and some food for thought for today. So we're in a new consciousness, we're in a new energy, and it doesn't take a lifetime to unplug of this anymore. I'll share with you this. If you think it's tough, and if you think it's tough now, I guarantee within a year, 2 years, or 5 years, it's going to be way worse. That's one example. The other one that was on my radar is, it was told me a couple times that if I don't handle this lifetime properly, in the next lifetime I'd be coming back for the same crap. And at that point I said, I will do whatever it takes for this. The moment I really walked through that wall of fire, this is where I started to up level, and I earned a phenomenal amount of trust with the universe doing with whatever I'm doing today. And I'm simply sharing that because when you start doing that, you're not doing this to appease others, you're not doing this to gain validation from others or the approval from others. It's something that's earned on the inside, and once you earn it, it's yours to keep. And it is a really a very fulfilling feeling. It's a very rewarding feeling. And I'd inspire and I encourage anyone to go through the same things. So that's my input for today. So wherever you are, enjoy your day. I'm going to enjoy the last of the sunset here. Thank you for your time. Be kind with yourself. Treat each other well. Until next time, take care.